My mind is full of confusions, excitements, and even expectations when I reached the city of my work. There, I was insisted to stay as a tenant in my relatives' homes itself, by which my parents have less tension about my safety. We landed there when it was 9 at night with my father. Then I wished the members in the house and then completed my dinner along with them and slept with my father that night. After waking up, my father started packing up his bag and getting ready to go. Before leaving, he came back to me, gave me his strength by holding me in his arms, gave me his support and love by patting me. He finally left the day. As the day is Sunday, I made arrangements in the home I should live in for few period. I arranged everything in the shelves in my room. While arranging everything, I found something at one of the corner of the room which is very colorful. Then I left my work aside and holded that in my hand. By seeing it, I am surprised and I am questioning myself whether it is a painting or a photograph. My eyes shined with joy as I never saw such a beautiful, what I call this? Is this a photograph or painting? Its texture resembles that. It is a photograph. But my mind says that no one is able to click a photograph like this. Thinking for a period, I decided or concluded it as a photograph. I have searched everywhere in the room such that I may find something related to that photograph, but there was of no use. Then I called for lunch. I went for lunch, seated beside my uncle. I eagerly turned my face towards him to ask about the person who captured it, but I felt hesitated to ask. I turned towards him, he too, and I shook my head and then bent towards food. Then my uncle asked me, "Do you have any problem or are you hesitating for having something?" My uncle thought about the lunch. Then I answered by asking about that photograph. "Uncle, who captured this photograph? I really impressed about this and I'm eagerly waiting to meet the person and I want to praise him." Then uncle asked me, "What photograph?" Then I showed him the photograph by handing it to him. Meanwhile, the photograph has fallen down from my hands. While lifting it, I saw something has written on the back of it. By reading the text written on it, I was surprised and more eager to know about it, as the text is, "The last photograph." I asked uncle with utmost curiosity about the photograph. But uncle simply refused to say about that. He asked me to leave the waste things and have my lunch. Then I simply had my lunch and went to the room with the lovely photograph. I spent hours thinking about that photograph. What is the mystery behind it? Why this photograph is written as the last photograph? What is the person doing now? My mind is pressurized with these thoughts. Then the call occurred for snacks. I refused. And then for dinner, which I again refused. After few moments, I heard a door knocking sound. When I opened, I saw my aunt carrying some fruits for me in one hand and a book in another hand. I welcomed her inside and we sat. My aunt asked me to eat fruits which I again refused. Then my aunt kept her hand on my shoulder and asked me, "Will you eat this after knowing about that photograph?" Then instead replying about yes or no, I replied, "Auntie, do you know about this really?" Keeping half smile on her face, she stood up and started telling. He was a very handsome guy I had ever seen. He is not only handsome but even makes every person look beautiful with his photos. He sees every bit of nature in a very unique manner and made us see with his photographs. To know much more about him, take that book. It's not just a book. It's about his dreams, ambitions, thoughts, failures, success, and everything. Have a look and you'll know everything. By telling this and keeping fruits on my table, she left away. I took the book with much more anxiety and I started reading the book. Are you eager to know what the book contains? Stay tuned to Story Treasure for the next part.